Ladies and gentlemen, business ethic in the 21st century. These words seem to be contradiction in terms. In the first place, the word business is commonly understood in this country. हिंदी में हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश की हिंदी में इसके लिए एक बड़ा ही कारगर शब्द है. अगर आप जुगाड़ करना नहीं जानते तो आप बिजनेस नहीं कर सकते. In other words, business refers to streetly cleverness. That if you're not clever enough, if you are successful in not letting people know what you're thinking, then you can't be a good businessman. But things are now very different. We will discuss, we will hear. There might be a welcome sermonizing on ethics in business in the 21st century. Her question is that, is this the end of the lineage, or will there be a 15th Dalai Lama?
Actually, I think this morning press meeting also I explained. You know, Dalai Lama institution, I think last about 6 centuries. So some people, you see, consider Dalai Lama institution is something very important for Buddhism. No. Buddhism over 2,500 years or 2,600 years. In Tibet also over 1,000 years. The Dalai Lama institution only 6, 7 centuries. So sometimes I call man-made institution. So it come, go. So therefore, as early as 1969, on my official formal statement, I stated the very institution of Dalai Lama will continue or not up to Tibetan people. Then 2001, we already achieved elected political leadership. Since then, my position is semi-retired position. Since 2011, I completely retired. No longer security, temporal sort of responsibility. And not only I myself retired, but also since 5th Dalai Lama, the Dalai Lama institution automatically become head of both temporal and spirituality. Now that formally, voluntarily, happily ended. Now future Dalai Lama, even Dalai Lama come, no rule of temporal. So therefore, it might be I am last Dalai Lama. Then I am very happy, because sometimes I jokingly was telling people the end of Dalai Lama institution at the time of quite popular Dalai Lama. Okay, that's much better, isn't it? The century-old institution ended with disgraced Dalai Lama is pity.
After all, Dalai Lama, the words mean an ocean of knowledge.
Hello.
May I also request to restrict your questions to today's topic, which is ethics in business.
Yes. Here. This way. Your Holiness, talking of ethics in business and ethical business? Well, it's a matter of perception, where you draw your line. Okay, now everybody has a different perception. I may draw a different line and you may draw a different line. What parameters would you consider to be of grave importance for drawing that line so that the businessmen are conscious of that particular parameters and they don't overstep the Lakshman Rekha in business and ethics?
Hello. Your Holiness,
Every day.
my question is
I think first,
rejoinder to that only. So
first let me answer you that.
Okay.
For me, much easier. Question, answer, question, answer. Otherwise, question 1, 2, 3, then answer. Sometimes my brain may not work. So that's much better. Now, any human activities can be ethical or non-ethical. See, ultimately based on motivation. Motivation, such sense of concern of others' well-being, well-being of more people, well-being of others. With that motivation, you see, carry activities or action, then become ethical action. If I carry teaching out of motivation, they just promotion myself, or sort of compete someone. Then, although teaching, the action is teaching, but actually unethical. So, like business or any other human activities, you see, carried with sincere motivation. Mainly, number one, well-being of other. Through that way, for long run, for self-interest also, more people satisfy, more people bring trust on you, your own self-interest automatically fulfill. Self-centered attitude, telling lie, exploiting other, cheating other, hypocritical way, then people, not foolish, eventually know what's your motivation, what's your purpose. Then people lost trust. Then you lost your friend. Maybe some friend of money may keep, but friend of genuine human being, then loss. Then ultimately, you see, a lot of money, perhaps good name, but deep inside, lonely person. So therefore, sense of concern of others' well-being, sincerely, then automatically your own interests automatically fulfill. So like that. So therefore, the ethical, ultimate ethical, something made by God. No. Ethical, judging our own motivation. From the Buddhist viewpoint, there is no absolute rule. Everything relative. So, and then also you see, same action, under one circumstances, very ethical, under one circumstances, may be different. So motivation is the key factor. Your aim, same aim, something good. But then, because of the different circumstances, then, you see, sometimes it become unethical, because not a benefit. Clear? So same action, firstly, with different motivation, it can be positive, negative, constructive, destructive. and same action, same sort of motivation, but due to circumstances, sometimes beneficial, sometimes harmful. So we need wisdom, judge the reality. So then, you see, the same method, same motivation, but because of the reality, sometimes may not be helpful. So we need sincere motivation here and wisdom. Analyze the situation. So combine our brain, our warm-heartedness, then can be something sort of beneficial. Like that. Okay.
Thanks,
So
Your Holiness.
I'm Buddhist monk, and also, you see, many people ask me some sort of teaching. And when I give teaching, first check my own motivation. If some motivation, the self-promotion, showing my knowledge, sometimes it happens. Then check, oh, this is wrong. You must carry your teaching with sincere motivation.
Yeah, Your Holiness, thank you. How we should address, what is your take, Your Holiness, on this?
Oh, I think only concern. Oh, yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. So only sort of concern about money or business. Then those factory or those traders who are selling weapons, also quite profitable. But we can't say it is right, making money from selling weapons. So weapon immediately, you see, harm other. Tobaccos or some other sort of the thing, not immediately sort of, how should they, because of the harm, but long run harmful. So it's better to reduce. And then a company or person who's sort of selling these tobaccos, you see, also you see should take some kind of long-term responsibility. I think you can make some profit, some selling some sweet, some other things. You can, you see, sort of certain sort of time you spend selling tobacco. Then, you see, the person never, you see, thought and some other means making profit. So it's a think. Then, of course, it's a profit. From the profit, you see, use for larger benefit to larger people, education field, health field. Still, for example, you see, selling weapon, let other people kill, and then from that profit, you see, spend some constructive work. I don't think right. Then everybody, you see, pray peace. So selling weapon is totally wrong. You cannot justify. I think in certain level, or one time I was in Okinawa, the local Okinawan people, very much against American military bases there. So they, some media people asked me my opinion. And then I told, on the level, or local level, foreign military bases in your own land is totally wrong. So you have a right to remove this. But another level, global level, North Korea is still there with nuclear sort of say, ambition. But then, frankly speaking, the people from China also, you see, the system is totalitarian system, secret society. And Russia also in some extent, some problems there. So under that circumstances, America, I openly telling, America is the leading nation of free world. So American military bases on global level, it is necessary keep American military bases in Okinawa. So you see, they different level. And one level, yes, totally wrong. Another level, necessary. So like that, we have to judge according to reality and wider perspective and local perspectives way. Local perspective, like that. So all this, we human brain, animal brain cannot judge like that. We human brain, usually I describe according to those believer of creator, then creator's best gift is our brain. And also our brain sometimes creates a lot of trouble. Human intelligence either is a source of worry, source of problem, and also source of happiness, source of, the benefit, like that. So, like that. That's my view.
It's almost like saying about weapons manufacture, they are bad if they're used for attacking and good if they're used for defense. There was a question from there.
His Holiness, in the morning session, you told about the materialistic world. You told about materialistic world. People are...
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yes.
People are talking about their wealth and everything and materialistic world.
That's right.
And business groups are also like that. What do you think spirituality can play a bigger role to intact the society as far as business is concerned?
One my friend, one American, the chancellor or leader of big university. I didn't want to mention name. I inquired his income annually 1 million. And as chancellor, very educated, well known, and famous. That university invited me to talk. It's a bit long journey, long drive from my place to that university. So in the car, he also joined with me. And he expressed his, after sort of some nice sort of exchange, greetings like that, then he expressed his problem in deep insight, lonely feeling. He do not want meeting people. He always prefer lonely and a little bit dark room. Then I took his hand, and then while some explanation, you say, I really feel sort of sad or how to say sympathy or concern about his sort of his situation. Then I talk something. Then I think within half an hour or something, his face changed. Then later, after I think another 1 or 2 years, then again I visited that university. So some of his staff member then told some of my sort of people, oh, our chancellor previously very sort of always prefer lonely. And after meeting with the Dalai Lama, now he become very, very active. He give a lot of work to his staff member. So like that, material fail, bring inner peace, self-confidence. Only you see, use human knowledge and then develop self-confidence and inner strength. Not self-confidence with alcohol. Self-confidence with reasons, with knowledge. And my own case, of course, I never promote myself. But the fact is, my life, not easy, lot of difficulties. But my sort of mental attitude always, Aside, Kasore, full of optimism. No matter how difficult it is, you carry your life truthful, honest, transparent. If I sort of remain as something like Holy Dalai Lama, I don't think you see much people showing smile me. I acting like human being, another human being. Then immediately we become close friend, isn't it? So if I myself used to consider something important, something special, and reincarnation of our Lokiteshvara, that's self-deceiving, isn't it? You also, you say, we are same human being. I think we should act like a human being, not something special profession, special position. That's a self-defeating. Do you agree? If someone disagree, then again you see, Kasur, raise question or argue. Then now a little bit of self-promotion. I'm a student of Nalanda tradition, including Pramana, logic, epistemological logic. So we trained that way. So I love argument. We trained since, you see, childhood. We trained that if someone says something, we try to make that wrong. If yourself, you see, make some point, then other debater, you see, try to make that wrong, then you have to defend. years we go like that way. Very helpful. So our basic sort of one of our human beings' nature is curiosity. Something see, something hear. Oh, what is the reason? What is the causes? What is the implication? Always come. That's very helpful. So someone used to disagree what I said. Welcome argument.
Recently, I read one of your interview.
Yes.
Recently, wherein you say that probably now.
Yeah, sorry. Recently, I read one of your interview, wherein I read your statement that probably Dalai Lama culture or that system, you probably may not want to continue in future. So, we are, especially we people are Indians and people from Indian subcontinent, we need Narendra Modi to even clean our houses. So without Dalai Lama, how do you think that we will follow the Buddhism? How do you follow, when we are already talking about the next Maitreya to come in to preach us the next Buddhism. So if after you there is no Dalai Lama, then I don't see what is the light after.
Kasa, dalam mena? Buddhism still very much alive without Buddha.
Yes.
And particularly for me, Nagarjuna's very sophisticated, realistic philosophical views still very much alive. I myself practice that whole day and night, without Nagarjuna. So no problem. The important is they are writing. Buddha himself, you see, stated, after me, after I passed away, my teaching is my representative, or my behalf, sorry, my representative. So, like that. So, after now person, next year, 80 years old, so perhaps next 10 years, 90 years, then another 10 years, 100 years, and then time to go. So my writing, this will remain. If there are sufficient sort of people who showing interest, then these books will remain alive, remain useful. Another sort of, maybe another century, like that. So it doesn't matter. And Buddhist system, we should not rely on person. We must rely on teaching. Teaching also should not rely on the nice word, but meaning. Meaning also, not a superficial meaning, but deeper meaning. And then deeper level also, should not rely on common sort of our sense, but wisdom, like that. That's the Buddhist way of thinking. So we, even as today's our sort of habit in Tibet, among Tibetan, among Chinese, among many other Buddhists, we too much relying on teacher or guru. That's not good. Buddha himself, told us, you individual, yourself as your own master. Entire future depend on yourself, not depend on Buddha or some other, like that. Next question.
Yeah, sir. Hello.
Oh.
Yeah, sir.
First,
question...
this elder one, elder.
Okay, yeah.
Where from?
I want to know what is the difference of Mahavira Ahimsa and Buddha Ahimsa, both in the same time. But what is the difference, I want to know.
What? Oh, that's right. I think Mahavira about 30, 40 years earlier. So Mahavira is senior, Buddha Shakyamuni junior. So both very much emphasis non-violence, ahimsa. Wonderful. Differences, Jainism and also one part of Sankhyaism, no concept of creator. They believe Atma. Buddhism alone among the world major religious tradition. Buddhism alone say no Atma, Anatma theory. So that's the differences. Last year I was in Bangalore. This is some ashram or Swami who really very much involved. It's a social sort of service, particularly feeding several thousand students meal, lunch. Wonderful. So we spent some time, and then I told him, yes, practice of Shila, Samadhi, Vipassana, we are same. The only differences is Atma and Anatma. So then I told him, that's private business. For me, Anatma theory is more suitable. For him, Atma theory is more suitable. That's a private business. Practice of Shila, Samadhi, Vipassana, these are common practice, like that. So Jainism also like that.
Before you ask another question, may I remind you to keep yourself within business ethics. For example, I have a question about CSR, the corporate social responsibility, for which Sri Govindbhai Dholakia and his company is so well known. Should it be mandatory or should it be voluntary? Corporate social responsibility.
嗯。 I think basically they very much related with self-discipline. Self-discipline. So these ethical things must carry voluntarily. As a rule, then sometimes rules teach us hypocrisy. Certain thing voluntarily sort of practice with conviction. That conviction also not from blind faith, but thorough investigation, including scientific research. Then you develop sort of clear knowledge or awareness. That brings conviction. That brings enthusiasm, willingness. Through that way, voluntarily, you see, carry your ethical work. So all these very much related with awareness. In ethical way, like corruption, you get some money. I think perhaps 4 or 5 years ago, I met some Chinese who now settle in America. Then they told me, in Western capitalist, those rich people, their money, their wealth, some from their parent or ancestors. And most of them, from their own hard work, they become rich, or millionaire or billionaire. In case of people from China, last 30 years, most of these billionaire or millionaire, within last 30 years, they become rich family. Not by their own ancestors' money or their own hard work, but exploitation, corruption, use power, make money. So like that. So the system supports socialist system. And generally speaking, quite tight control. But human mind, such ability is in doing all sorts of method. Corrupted method, isn't it? So therefore, self-discipline means voluntarily, you see, you on basis of awareness, or if I do this for temporary, I get more money. For long run, very harmful. So from selfish viewpoint also must be ethical, because of the way of life, way of doing is much, much safer for my own interest. So all this awareness, not, I don't know, the rules also sometimes help, but ultimately awareness, self-discipline is the key factor. That awareness, very much important.
Thank you.
So,
Yes?
my question is from the point of view of an employee in a working environment. In the day-to-day work life, we meet a lot of people. They all operate according to their own ethics and moral compass. So when we meet difficult people, how do we not let them impact our peace of mind? And secondly, is it okay to work in an organization that is involved in some sort of unethical practice? Because every organization will have some practices, some businesses which may be unethical.
그래서 당구지.
That is a very relevant, if difficult, question.
Here, first part of your Here, I think important make a distinction. Action and actor. Please listen. You raised the question, but you are not listening. That waste of my answer. And that also waste of time. Please pay more attention about my answer. Kasa, 당gut kalore. So you see distinction, action and actor. Actor is concerned, we must practice forgiveness and keep respect, and if possible, keep compassion. But as far as action is concerned, if the person take advantage on your humbleness, then take strong, appropriate countermeasure. Oppose that. Not out of anger, but out of sense of concern of their well-being. Long run, if we let their wrongdoing continuously, ultimately they will suffer. So, action is concerned, we have to take countermeasure. Even go to court. Although in India's court, I think it takes a long time, isn't it? So I think lawyers also, I think their pocket some connection. So these are unfortunate. But you see, better bring case court like that, not murder. So that's that number because of the answer for first question. Second question, then I think that is the very reason. I think all these individuals or politicians or organizers or companies, I think they not necessarily start right from the beginning with very cheating or lies. But someone do that, other one also do that, appears little successful, then you also eventually you see, follow that. That is the mistake. Someone must stand firm, then make public all those company or something doing negative way, wrongdoing, make public. Publicity. I think more than 10, 15 years ago, one occasion in Dharamsala, a number of Western Buddhist teachers conference. So some teacher, you see, raised criticism, some Tibetan lamas and also some Zen masters in America, exploiting sex. Then I told the meeting, Buddha already made clear, certain actions are wrong. Buddha prohibited, but not effect. Then I can't stop these activities. Only thing is, make it public. Then these people, although they not much concerned about Buddha's own sort of what's the teaching, but they may concern about their faith. So made sort of public. And then public reaction. So one big company, if necessary, too much lies or not transparent, then public should not go buying from that. Go that way. Like that way, the public reaction, I think, is the best teacher. This is my feeling. So it is wrong. Other company more successful doing this negative way, and I also now, there's no other way except if you follow same pattern. It's wrong. Someone must stand firm. Then, with your cleanness, you also have more self-confidence and also more inner strength. Then tell truth. All this wrongdoing, no matter how big. And one or two companies join and stand firm. That's the only way to change the society. This is my belief. Whether practical or not, I don't know. You have to think. In any way, present sort of there's a tendency, if this goes continuously, I think many people suffer, particularly poor people suffer a lot. Although capitalism, socialism, both, you see, meant for public, meant for people. But then in the capitalist, I think the Western capitalist system is still better because of free press and rule of law. So that's some kind of guarantee. Now China, you see, no proper rule of law and power, people who have power, law also in their hand. So very difficult. So therefore, now worst kind of capitalism, too much exploitation, China. I have one a Nobel laureate friend. He usually he himself socialist. So in early period, he very much sympathetic about People's Republic of China. Then I think a few years ago, I met in Jordan at our lunchtime. I asked him, now what do you think about China? And he immediately said, worst kind of capitalism and a totalitarian system. He mentioned like that. So these are communism, genuine communism. I love communism. As far as socio-economic theory is concerned, I'm Marxist. Perhaps I am more precise, I'm Buddhist Marxist. So wonderful. The main thing is the Marx economy, Karl Marx economy, is emphasis equal distribution and eventually classless society. Wonderful. But again, due to lack of moral ethics, and also unfortunately, when Marxist region or country start after Bolshevik revolution and under the leadership of Lenin, at that time, atmosphere is wartime. So mentality during war, quite strict, and secrecy, and sometimes brutality. So that become part of Marxism. That's a mistake. Then Chinese Revolution, also immediate after Civil War. So war mentality there. So Marxism Marxist system or socialist system carried with wartime mentality. I feel that's the main reason. If Karl Marx again appear, I think he reject today's those who are Marxist. I don't think he agree. So therefore, you see, these the concept socialism very wonderful. When immediate sort of collapse or change of Eastern European countries, then Czechoslovakia Republic, the first elected republic, first elected president, late President Havel. So he invited me. I was there. And I expressed, now you have the right time, some kind of synthesized economic system. The socialist system more or less stagnated. The Western capitalism also, you see, create huge gap, rich and poor. So time come, some kind of synthesized sort of economic system. But nothing happened. So these systems, I think ultimately related with motivation, ethical, ethical principle. Whether capitalism or socialism, you see, ethical sort of motivation, principle, that all are good. Like that. That's my view. Good. This one. Yes. Next question?
His Holiness,
Huh?
I want to ask one question, that how a religion and religious gurus can teach ethical business practices in current century, because there are a lot of impact of spiritual gurus or religious gurus. So can they really bring some value system to ethical businesses? One. And I have another question, like lot of spiritual gurus are coming with lot of products, business products and consumer products. Do you really feel it is ethical?
Karsa. First part. I think they should speak. They should speak out. I often, you see, expressing the religious leader should speak more about the gap, rich and poor, and also the corruptions. I think religious, spiritual leader should speak more loudly. And then also, in India, the caste system, the century-old habit, the religious leader should speak. And they have the responsibility. So sometimes I describe jokingly, and even you see when our religious leaders, you see, gathering, sometimes with respect I express the leaders should be active in social welfare or social well-being. So it is not sufficient the spiritual leader remain in their own temple and carry some puja and worship. This is not sufficient. Must come out, make direct contact with public, and some sort of draw back outdated certain sort of Indian sort of habit. Now must change. Lead by spiritual leaders. That's my view. Second part, Karsa. As one of the causes, one of the causes in India, the Buddhism degenerate was some Buddhist monk, you see, they keep money or some gold like that. So the public lost respect. One of my friend, Professor Joshi, the Patiala professor, many years ago, you see, he wrote a book, three reasons the Buddha Dharma decline in this country. One reason, you see, the monk showing interest about wealth. So eventually public lost their faith, number one. Number two, the too much tantric practice, alcohol, sometimes sex. That also causing public trust or respect. So he mentioned. Then third, the concerned sort of rajas, the inclination towards non-Buddhist tradition. That also some effect. He put three reasons. I often telling, you see, Tibetans, you see, without practice of, contentment and life simplicity, there is danger. And particularly lamas like me, high name, high lama, and sit on throne and thinking name or money. That's really, instead of serving Buddha Dharma, very, very harmful Buddha Dharma, like that. So therefore, I think spiritual leaders, I think some Shankaracharya, I know, oh, their life, their lifestyle, very simple, simplicity, wonderful, wonderful. Like some Christian monks or nuns, also, you see, their lifestyle, very simple, simplicity. Simplicity summary. Simple. It's wonderful. So like that. So these spiritual leaders, suppose example in the society. If they become disgrace, that's great disaster. One individual, one businessman doing something wrong, okay, understandable. A spiritual leader become something wrong, but that's really disaster, isn't it? Yes. Next question.
Hello. Sir, my question
Yes,
is...
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, there'll be only one last question.
My question is, in your view, what kind of business is the best business in the world? And
I don't know. I think you know better.
And
Or
my,
best business is cheating other people.
Sir, and my second part of the question is, who are some of the business people you admire the most?
Oh, nothing special. Nothing special. Oh, of course, last 2 days, you see, this, you see, seems wonderful, very good. If I spend more time, then I may find some wrong things with this person.
Sir, my last question, sir. Sir, my last
Yes,
question.
another one. Yes, there.
One.
Yes.
What is the exact relation between success and ethics in current century?
Karsa.
What is the exact relation between success and ethics in current century?
I think, as I mentioned earlier, ethics not is something absolute. So therefore, ethics actually, you see, we human beings start. Every human being do not want suffering. Every human being wants a happy life. So someone cheating you, the person feel unhappy. Some of you show genuine trust and sense of concern, then the person feel happy. So the basis of demarcation is any action which brings happiness to other people, well-being, benefit to other people. That's basis, that's ethical thing. Any action which brings unhappy other, that's unethical. So ethical or unethical is ultimately related with beneficial to other or not. So therefore, so long human beings remain, I think I must add, so long human beings' brain, like today's brain, remain another few centuries, then I think any action, so a person who carried life or action or more ethical way, naturally people love you, respect you, trust you. Unethical way, short term you may get some benefit, but long run you will be loser. Clear? So after a few thousand, I think a human head shape may be some change. Then our brain may be some change. Then I don't know what the basis of ethical, I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very important day for all of us because as a takeaway, we will be taking away some Dalai Lama wisdom with us. And Your Holiness, however humble you are, we are still in awe of you.
So now important is, as far as Buddhist view is concerned, we all have Buddha nature. We all have potential of goodness. And also we all have the intelligence to judge long-term, short-term interest. So we all have the same potential. I think in my case, I really feel the name of Dalai Lama not bring my wisdom. My wisdom come from interacting with other fellow human beings. Many scientists, many leaders, many spiritual practitioners. Age now 80 years, nearly 80 years. You see, since my age, I think 15, 16, I took the responsibility about temporal, both temporal and spirituality. And then, meantime, you see, dealing with China. And I had a lot of meeting with Chairman Mao Zedong. I learned many useful things from him. Then that's 54, 55. Then 56, I think most of you not yet born. Isn't it? So then 56, I came to India, Buddha Jainist liberation. I met several times with Pandit Nehru and many other freedom fighters. Really wonderful. I learned a lot from them. Then mainly through difficult life, you see, a lot of experience I gained. So that is the basis of my knowledge or my sort of what you call, so-called wisdom. So I think you should passing through more difficult life, then you gain more experiences. Oh, everything okay, happy life. I think I noticed the generation in Europe, who witnessed or experienced after Second World War, these people are very tough. Like a young American, their life sometimes spoiled. Like the September 11th event happened. Many shocked. Like English people, German people, that kind of thing during war or end of war, like daily basis experience. So you see, people who passing through more difficult period, you see, their inner strength, they really establish. So easy life sometimes spoiled. So we all have same potential, whether we utilize that potential or not. Otherwise, we are completely same. I am one Amdo human being, you are one Indian or Gujarat human being, same human being, isn't it? So should not consider someone something very special thing. Don't look that way. That discourages you. Sometimes even, you see, the religious belief, God something creator, we are creation. For me, I'm Buddhist. I'm not criticizing other religion. But to me, you see, that concept, you see, a little bit, I say, they suppress your own potential. I'm only creator. God creates. Buddha say we are same. You also have the Buddha nature. If you make attempt, you also become Buddha. Clear? Of course, I respect all religious tradition, and particularly theistic religion. I really admire, you see, that single-pointed faith towards God, Creator. Wonderful. Ultimate source of strength, ultimate source of ethical thing. So wonderful. So each religion have different unique sort of, or say, method to bring inner strength. So I'm Buddhist. Sometimes I discover I'm staunch Buddhist. Reason, I study all the critics of different religions wrote by Nalanda masters. I study these things. So therefore, I consider myself as a staunch Buddhist. But at the same time, I think, as you, I think, know, I'm quite realistic. Even Buddha failed to convert all Indian to Buddhist. And Jesus Christ failed to convert all, I think, all Arabs, Muslim there. So Muslim, sometimes you see with sword and the Quran, but that also failed to convert entire human being, isn't it? Asia, like that. So therefore, you see, now, nobody can convert all human population into their own religion. So it is much better. Accept reality and respect and share each other. I learned a lot of good things from Christian practitioner. So one time in Australia, in Sydney, one Christian minister, he also is very much, devoted, helping poor people and homeless. He feeding homeless people and also taking care, education about homeless people. Wonderful. One time, my talk, you see, he introduced me and he mentioned he considered me as a good Christian. Then later, when my talk started, I described, I consider you as a good Buddhist. Because, you see, we have common practice, isn't it? So common sort of common practice, or common concept, you see, compassionate word, compassionate sort of, or say practice or heart, like that. So therefore, I really respect all major religious tradition. And that may be selfish reason. I want more popularity among non-Buddhists. So as a result, really, when I mix with a Christian, they really loves me. Among sort of, or say Muslim, also you see, they really loves me like that. So unless we touch philosophical field. One time, my Christian friend, Catholic monk, a wonderful monk, he really very much concerned about Tibet. Sometimes he a little bit critical view about the Vatican, not much talk about Tibet. So he, you see, we often exchange certain sort of practice, like single-pointed meditation or practice of forgiveness. These things are common practice. So often we discuss or exchange. One day he asked me about anathema theory, shunyata theory. Then I told him, don't ask this. This is not your business. This is my business. Actually, I fear if he develops some interest about Buddhist concept of anathema, that might be hindrance for his single-pointed faith towards God as an absolute. According to Buddhism, Buddha also not absolute, nothing absolute. So that might be hindrance for his own sort of faith. So I asked him, or I respond him, don't ask that. So like that, different sort of unique views, better to keep one's own life, like that. No one have right to interfere with that, and better to keep separately. Clear? Okay, now completed. Thank you. Thank you. Now yesterday and today, I think quite. Oh yes, yeah. Yes, now like me, more bolted. Usually you say I describe less hair, more shining. So that's the sign of wisdom.
I'm also 79, so don't worry, I'm the same age.
Oh, 79. Oh. Yeah, same age, brother. So last 2 days, I mean, today and yesterday, I really, enjoy a short visit here, Surat, on his invitation. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.